Well, Macklin, at least we got a fight out of the deal. Yeah, but yours wasn't hyped up to be the fight of the century. Bruins lose 7-5 to the Anaheim Ducks. Welcome back down into the den, everybody. I know that Anaheim is a good team. They have an insane young core and underratedly probably one of the best defenses in the entire league. Really? You're losing to Anaheim at this point? Chalk it up as a sixth straight loss for the Bruins. And despite a really, really interesting second half of the game, where we try to make it as interesting as we can, this team sucks at applying defensive pressure. But before we get into that, I want to discuss something that's been nagging a lot of people in the fan base. And that has been Marco Sturm's post-game press conferences. Particularly in that he seems to be one that likes to call out his players. And a lot of people have very mixed feelings about that, which I completely understand. It's not necessarily great for team morale for your head coach to be going on about all your issues in the post-game presser. But a couple of things. One, these criticisms are definitely well-intentioned. And on top of that, they seem to be a wake-up call for these players. Now, personally, I think that addressing these issues in a post-game presser, I feel like that should be reserved for more last-ditch types of frustration. Like with Monty a few years ago saying Pasta needs to be better.
Marchand has done that in the series. Pasta needs to step up.
And then immediately afterwards, just laying waste to the Leafs in Game 7. Just one of the best post-game pressers I've ever seen from Jim Montgomery, resulting in one of the best plays I've ever seen from David Pastrnak.
And it's Pastrnak scores!
For what it's worth, that seems to be having the same effect nowadays. After 2 goals came off of Pasta's stick in the Colorado game, he got benched for the third period. Sturm said, hey, you got to be better in the post-game presser. What happens? Pasta ends up putting up 2 goals against Utah. It's really frustrating that we didn't win that game. He makes his frustrations known about Casey Mittelstadt. Believe me, I have made my frustrations known about Casey Mittelstadt. What has Mittelstadt done since then? More so since moving to the wing, he's been pretty damn good. He not only had the opening goal in this game, he had some other really good plays. Casey Mittelstadt on the wing is something that I'm slowly starting to enjoy. I'm not going to be so stuck in my ways that I'm going to be like, this guy needs to be off this team no matter what, even if he's playing well. Which, by the way, I still think to some extent is true. But at the same time, I'm not going to look the objective reality that Casey Mittelstadt has been playing better since moving to the wing and say that there's no change in the style of play. I mean, hell, he called up Mason Lohrei after the Florida game. And Lohrei had a really, really good goal in this game. And the second aspect to this that makes me fine with Sturm's criticisms is a lot of it is acknowledgement that your team has the potential to actually play well. What do I mean? Well, I'm a Patriots fan. And last year, the Patriots head coach was Gerard Mayo. And one of the most frustrating things that Gerard Mayo said was he straight up called the Patriots defense soft. He said that the team did not have the wherewithal to actually make a decent stop. Now, if you're a head coach, you need to be able to inspire some sort of confidence in your team. And I would say that you're a good player, you need to be doing better, is a really good way of doing that. Saying you're soft and you're not going to be able to do this doesn't do a damn thing. Like, cool, I can't do this. What am I supposed to do with this information now? How are you going to help me get to the point where this isn't an issue? So that's number 2. And that ultimately is why I'm fine with Sturm calling out the players a little bit. We're not going to pretend like the Bruins didn't play well in this game. Hell, we had a really, really fun fight between Tanner Jeannot and Ross Johnston. And Jeannot, amazing fighter. I loved watching that. The only thing that made it frustrating, Judd Surratt's commentating during that was really, really just... Jeannot with the right, 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 Jeannot with the right. I know Jeannot is punching with his right hand, Judd. Can you say something other than that? Can you say something other than Jeannot with the right? In any case, the Bruins had some pretty good plays throughout this game. But as soon as Troy Terry deked both Charlie McAvoy and Mark Kastelic off this plane of existence that led to the Mikael Granlund goal, that's sort of when I knew that this team was going to be dead in the water for tonight. Joonas Korpisalo, decent game. I'm not going to say it was a good game. I'd say he was serviceable. Because a decent amount of this team right now is unable to actually produce a decent amount of pressure in their own zone. Michael Callahan ended up getting called up for tonight from Providence because Jordan Harris is going on IR. And in Hampus Lindholm's continued absence, which, I mean, tonight was a game-time decision, who knows if he's going to continue being a game-time decision in the future, Callahan played okay. He was a third-pair defenseman. And that's all that he really needed to be. He was fine. If there is one thing that proved without a shadow of a doubt is mandatory for this team to be anywhere near viable within the next century, they need to get faster. This team moves slower than molasses in January, which is a hilariously bad metaphor if you know anything about Boston lore. This team is ridiculously slow. And there's a really good way to make that not the case by bringing up the fucking prospects. There was a breakaway that Casey Mittelstadt had that he had to double back on and wait for a trailer because he didn't have the gas to get to the net. Do you think Fabian Lysell would have had the gas to get to the net? He would have. Do you think Georgi Merkulov would have had the gas? Yes. Do you think Matt Pot? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. You do not know what you have in your young prospects until you utilize them at the NHL level. Lysell should be up here as a second-line winger. Merkulov should be up here as a third or fourth-line winger. There is no reason why Matt Poitras should not be up here as our third-line center. Fraser Minton tonight had some good plays. He could not finish. He could not finish to save his life. And I'm going to blame Don for this. I'm going to blame Don and I'm going to blame Cam for this. You're going to load up this team with piss and vinegar on the third and fourth line? That's not what this team needs right now. Do you really think that this team needs piss and vinegar on the third and fourth line right now? This team needs to be able to generate some sort of positive offensive output. This team, in the 6 games that it is dropped in a row, has had 4 of them be decided by 1 goal. Do you think that instead of having someone who's just there to grind out the game and get a little face wash action in there, do you think replacing that guy with someone who can actually finish and maybe generate an odd man rush, do you think maybe that prospect would generate a better outcome for you? There's only one reason why I'm upset with this loss as I am, and it's that this management core does not know what it wants to do. It really does not know how it wants to treat this season. Is this a retool? If that's the case, why did you start by putting Lysell, Merkulov, and Poitras all in Providence? Are you sure that you can compete with this roster? If you are, if you think that this roster can compete for playoffs, I have a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. This team needs to retool. And they need to do it smartly. And right now, they're not being smart about how they're retooling. And that's why I'm upset. Because ultimately, the outcome does not matter of this game. Because ultimately the outcome of this season doesn't really matter. This team sucks. We're going to be dumpster diving for a high draft pick. I know that. I think we all need to accept that. 9 games into the season, we're 3-6. And our only wins have come against a frighteningly inconsistent Capitals team, the Blackhawks, and the Sabres. This team is not good. This team is not good. Let's not convince ourselves that this team is good. This team is retooling. They're just doing it really fucking badly. Smarten up, you guys. And I know that's difficult. Smarten the fuck up. And that's going to be it for me today. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. And who knows? There might be a new video essay by the time the next one comes around. Stay tuned.